Hi, I'm Alberto Esteban, and today we're going to be looking at some of our latest design projects. So at Plus Render, we specialize mainly in two things. One of them is creating the design of projects from an early stage all the way to planning or construction phases, and then the other one is getting these designs, 3D modeling them, and creating hyper-realistic images with it to make the most out of them. So here, this is where we are located. Our main base is in Spain, and then we're also placed in Portugal and in the Netherlands. And just a quick highlight on our workflow. We don't really like the way like some companies, they just like complete the work and then they just allow for a couple revisions at the end. What we do instead is we create a Miro board that has all our progress, and what we do is share our progress every single step of the way, kind of creating in a way infinite revisions in order to allow to nail that single stage and then move on to the next one, and then like this. Ironically, this is helping us to complete the projects faster and is allowing especially yourself as a client to have much more control and to be able to make all the decisions through the project. Now we're just going to be taking a quick look at some of our most interesting projects. So this is one of the base, and as you can see, this project is also now integrated in a virtual tour platform, which is something that we also do. In this case, the client, basically they provided us with a napkin sketch of the plot. We just had like the rough shapes and some of the buildings based on how much they occupy in a plan. And later what we did is we looked in detail at how was the architecture in terms of locally and what were the aspirations of the client. And we just kind of worked on that as from a master plan scale, but also from an eye level, as you can see right here. The buildings include the character of the area with these kind of arches, and for example here the client needed to have a museum as well, and we were like, okay, let's do it now. So we came up with this design and they liked it so much, and now they are applying for planning application for that. As you can see here, we can see all these kind of cute little architecture composed for all these retail shops and restaurants. And another very interesting feature is that not only in these cases we are talking about buildings, but we are also talking about landscape and the arrangement of urban furniture in general. No? This is basically making the scenes not only like interesting, but also like very appealing and very engaging for the viewer, no? And for the authorities as well. So when starting a project, let's say, what we do is usually we receive a topographic plan, could be in PDF or in AutoCAD, such as this one that we have on the screen. And later we also receive the Google Earth location, or just the location in general, sorry. And for example, we're going to be looking now at a project that is in the south of Spain. Let's just dive into it right here. So this would be the plot, and this would be the topographic plan of the plot. In this case, we can see that like looking in detail at the project, we can see that the scale of the surroundings is quite important. It's generally ground floor or maybe ground floor plus one, generally ground floor. And then also looking around, what we see is that we can have certain views. We can try to have certain views towards the ocean, which is right there, but it's already a little bit far away. So one of the main aspects of the project is going to be focusing on the south views and these beautiful valleys that are here right behind us. Another challenge coming with this project was the fact that south works because it has beautiful views. But what's really interesting is that facing north already, we are right here on the skirts of the Mongol mountain, which is this beautiful really huge mountain, and it has these red cliffs on it, and it's really nice. So what we did as a project here was, this would be the plot, and what we did is we made sure that the project had like a horizontal arrangement, basically allowing for the most of the amenities to be able to look north towards the mountain, but especially get all that south light into the plot. So in this case, we can see that the access would be on one of the sides, and later we access the house right here, allowing for the viewer as soon as he arrives to get all these views. And then, for example, the living room has an opening towards the south that's going to allow all this light to go through, but also another one in the north. And this is also the location where the swimming pool is going to be placed. And now we're gonna see this on 3 dimensions. So the moment that we start the project, one thing we do immediately is do the 3D model, because when we look at a project in 2D, we already get certain notions and certain ideas of how is the arrangement going to look. But what's really, really important is making sure that we can live and we can use this space. So this is how the building looks currently in the design. Then we would access over here. And thanks to doing the 3D, we realized, for example, here that we needed more of a grandiose, more of a roundabout effect instead of the maneuvering corner that we had done in 2D. And then once we go inside, for example, it would be the experience that we have. We have this tiny water feature right here. Also, we look into the sensation of going in, but also the one going out. So, right, what is the first thing that we're gonna see moving outside? This is a window towards the kitchen, and then the access would be on that door right there. But then if we move through, we can see how the reality of having that mountain on the north in relation to the living room is happening. So we can see the exact views of the living room sitting in the sofa, how we're going to see the mountain, for example. And later we can see that the swimming pool is creating a beautiful effect, because not only we have the mountain running on top of us, but also the swimming pool is creating like a mirror facing up. Another really, really interesting feature about creating these 3Ds, you can find the certain views that you're going to be having once you are experiencing. For example, this is the view that we're going to have when we are right here in the swimming pool. At the end of it, this is how the house is going to look. Another example of another project right here, but also only on the other side of the mountain. We have this plot right here, again, unfortunately facing north, but with beautiful views towards the ocean and a cliff right in front of us that is going to obviously avoid any kind of neighbors blocking the view, and it's going to allow us to see all the way to Valencia over there. And we have the city of Denia right here with the famous castle, famous fortress on top of the hill. So once we know the location, the next thing we do is get the topographic plan to have the exact measurements and to understand the local regulations on how much distance we need to leave from the sites. In this case, it's 5 meters. And later, how do we need to behave with the geometry overall? So deep diving into the plans. What we have here is our first approach in terms of the plans, and how again we follow a similar strategy where we are opening ourselves to the south to get all that light inside, and then we are projecting towards the outside to get all the views from the north. The idea here is to maximize the numbers of square meters, because we have much larger limitations, but also we want to make the most out of the plot. So in terms of the 3D model, this is how it looks. We can see that right now it has a morning light, and one really good huge advantage of this software is that this is going to allow us to change the light during the day at any moment that we wish. For example, now it would be night. This is the sunset, and we can identify exactly where the sunset is going to be, where the sunrise is going to be, and that would be Denia right there, and this is where the sunrise happens. In this case, we also added a basic geometry of our neighboring buildings, because it's quite relevant on how they're going to behave, blocking our views or not. In this case, we can see that the project has different levels, and what we are doing is taking advantage of the typical Mediterranean style that is difficult to master, but when done well, it comes with huge results. One of its main advantages is the fact that it looks tremendously simple, desirable, and has a really premium effect to it, but in reality it's just built with the most basic materials, and basically any builder can do it. Now, these houses are currently selling for the price of similar houses that have huge window spans and have these marble stones being imported from Italy and so on. But in this case, we're just building with brick and having, let's say, normal windows. So it's relatively simple and has also huge returns. In this case, what we did with the design of the upper level is we only allowed for the centerpiece to be right here popping out, and then this is going to allow us that during the day, what we want to do is push those two volumes to the back to allow this sunlight to go all the way in there and make this space of the living room more desirable with more light. One very interesting feature that we are doing in the house as well, by the way, is how we are in the living room. We create this beautiful central stair to go to this public amenity of the swimming pool. But not only that, we just create like a step here, and the stairs themselves, they follow with the same proportion all the way to the inside of the swimming pool, almost kind of inviting you so much to go inside. Now, these designs, what's really interesting is that they not only come with the outside, but also with the inside, with all the elements that we need. So, for example, here we have the bed, we have the views, we have furniture, the window, the kitchen, for example. How is the kitchen arranged? How is this exit over here? All these elements are always taken into account during these designs. And we can truly like live these spaces, right? We can say that we're gonna have 2 bedrooms in the level in the basement. But how are they looking? How are we supposed to make them work? And what is the space that they're gonna have here? So when we look at a plan, it's easy to read it, but hard to believe. But it's only when we are in 3D, as we are here, we truly understand how are these spaces working, and later if they have a view or not. And in this case, we can see that we can definitely reach to the ocean view over here. Once all these designs are ready, it's already very easy to understand and to know how the property is working, what spaces are proportionate and which ones need to be increased or not. And so what we do as a next step is we jump into the visualization and into creating very, very appealing interiors, but also exteriors of these buildings. So here we have some examples of some of the designs that we have created. And these are all 3D renders. We have integrated them in photography to make the most realistic outcome. Doing images such as that one is one way through, but another one for slightly larger developments would be creating a virtual tour such as this one. So in this case, we just send you a link, or you can send your own clients a link. And what we do here is we begin the presentation. We start with a video. This video can be specific to the project, but also could be general about the company. And in this case, as you can see, this is playing. We have a beautiful 360 photograph that is going to show us all this interactive information, letting us know what is the building duration, how many units it has. And also, what's really, really special about this 360 feature is that when we're doing, once we have the design of the house ready and we know exactly how all the spaces work, what we do is we go back into our portfolio and we see what we can do with these images. So what we do is we 3D model this and we apply hyper-realistic textures, and we design the interiors down to the last detail, but also like the exteriors, and we can create images such as these ones. As you can see, in most cases, what we do is we take a photo either with a drone or eye level, and what we do is integrate the building right there to make the most realistic outcome possible. And for slightly larger developments, what we do is we create this just a simple link and something that's going to help boost the visibility of these properties, basically creating a virtual tour with it. We have designed Plus Render, Plus Reality, which is a software specialized to showcase these kind of properties, in which you can start with a video that could be specific to your company or could be specific to the project. In this case, it's about the company. We can skip this at any moment. And later we can get, first thing we see is these beautiful 360 photos that are going to be full with this interactive information, and they're going to let us know how the project is developing, and also we're going to be able to see the project photographically implemented here even before the works have begun. Now, a really huge advantage of doing a virtual tour is the fact that you're not only looking towards the building, but also you can turn around and identify that, you know, you have a winery only 9 minutes driving over there, that we can see the lake is right there, and there's a shopping center only 4 minutes away. And we also have like an airport back here, 10 minutes driving. So, you know, suddenly a building that doesn't seem to be centered to anything is very connected to some of the key aspects here. And the beautiful thing about this kind of virtual tours is that, as you can see right now, this is playing in autopilot. It's just taking you around and therefore making it really easy for the viewer to kind of get a feeling for the project and to understand it without having to have any kind of technical knowledge. And at any point you can just press on skip the autopilot and you can use the tour by yourself. And it's most easy because all of us have experience with Google Street, and basically this is a little bit like Google Street, only that we have all this interactive information coming with it. So here we have this eye level, for example, looking, and here we have the photography, the photo that has been taken 360 degrees, and in this case the render starts in this sidewalk over here, it goes all the way to there. And so later we can also do interiors and some of the other aspects of the project. So I hope this is helpful, and yeah, looking forward to working together. Thank you.